Shake it like a Polaroid picture, Danny.
Like a salt shaker, dude.
Dude, I can see the brakes just...
The whole thing, yeah.
Woo! Not good.
Trash.
It seems pretty normal, right? No play there. It's definitely a wheel bearing. In today's video, we're fixing the Speed 3, and you guys have no idea what it is yet, and I'm literally about to tell you guys. So many of you have commented the brakes, maybe it's the front brakes, maybe the front rotors are warped, something like that, where it is turning on the ABS and then making my brakes being really weird. Also, the speedometer literally goes from 0 miles an hour to like 20 miles an hour and bounces like that like crazy. So a lot of you other guys were saying maybe it is the ABS, it's the ABS sensor, the speed sensor, and that is what I was checking. I was checking the ABS and speed sensor before I put that video up, and then what I noticed was that the front right, so the passenger side right wheel was incredibly loose with the lug nuts tight and everything. So with that in mind, it is most definitely a wheel bearing. Look at this. Oh yeah, that's really nice. This is making this wheel spin at a different speed, which is messing with the ABS and also the speedometer, and that's why the speedometer would literally go from like 0 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour, and the ABS would think that the car's trying to slow down when it wasn't, and a bunch of nonsense. Axle nut right here is like pushed in, right where Tyler's hitting it, to prevent it from coming back. So we're slamming it out, and then we're gonna be able to take it off. And there we go. After about 20 minutes of hitting away, it should be good. For the boys? Awful.
Is that loose?
Yeah.
Bro, is that really what it is?
Hey.
Yeah,
like, Mickey.
It was not tight at all.
What?
The axle nut.
Are you telling me that it didn't tighten it, or are you telling me it's loose as fuck?
I'm telling you, look at this. I'm turning it. That's not getting tight at all. I'd be amazed. Dude, what if it just doesn't come off either?
Stripped it.
What if it's stripped?
That was my theory, dink.
Hey. Yeah.
Dive at the same time, I just said it later. What?
Yo, you got it.
So here are the tools that got picked up by AutoZone. Jeff actually picked up this one. This is for the bearing. These are for the axle, so we can get the the hub separated from the axle. And this is for an oxygen sensor. This is something different. This is for the Mazdaspeed 3 because we're going to be putting it back to stock for smog, and also for the Mustang EcoBoost because we're going to be putting on this downpipe. Tyler, best thing we do all day. Oh!
You got it, bro.
Brother! Oh. Your boy just ripped off his own hub. So here's the bearing. So in my eyes, it doesn't look bad to me. There's no metal shards. It's not out of like that oily, juicy stuff. But nevertheless, we're gonna put the new one on. To press the rest of this bearing off, since it didn't come out nicely, we have to get this whole assembly off to press this out, which kind of sucks, but it's just a few extra steps. Disconnected this bolt right here. We're going to be disconnecting this bolt right here, and I believe this tie rod right here. This right here is the old bearing that needs to be pushed out, and we're going to put in the new bearing along with the new hub, which is right there. Jeff is going to get the tool to back out this old bearing, and that's where we're going to be going from there.
All right, give her hell. Again.
Told you that was it. Told you that was it.
So here's the old bearing versus the new bearing. Very similar. Flip it over, and that's just because half of that bearing's gone and still on the old hub that we're not going to take off because why? Mine is not well. We're going to put it in here and we're going to slap it in using the old bearing.
This is an absolutely ghetto way to do this. But
There's the new bearing on. We are on our way home. Your ring is in, boy. A couple hours later, if you notice, the threads on this axle are absolutely destroyed. And that was literally the problem this entire time. The threads are destroyed, so trying to get the axle nut on here and threading it, trying to thread it, won't happen. And that causes this to be loose. If this axle nut was tight on the hub, this would not be loose. This was most likely the problem with the old one, and the bearing was probably fine. So just wasted $160, a lot of time, for a stripped axle nut and axle bolt or stud that I did not put on. Guys at HG have a tool they think that will be able to re-pitch our threads. So we're waiting on that. We gotta wait an hour before we go over there. So we're gonna start on getting the old downpipe back on. After this, we'll have to go back to stage 1, huh? Okay, we got the new axle nut on there. Actually, it's TJ's axle nut. We're slamming it in so it stays in place this time. So after a ton of tries, we finally got the axle nut back on. I actually used TJ's axle nut from his BRZ. So thank you for that, TJ. You don't even know that yet until maybe you watch this. But axle nut is back on. Everything is good with that. We were moving it around like I showed. I believe I showed, but that isn't moving anymore, which is good. And now we are going to stock out the car because we do have a smog that needs to be done in literally 2 days. So we're gonna be stocking out the car by putting on the OEM downpipe, and then at my house I'm gonna switch out the blow-off valve for the bypass valve, and then everything, the intake, the turbo inlet pipe should pass smog, so that really shouldn't be a problem. And the next thing that we're gonna be doing after that is like doing the checklist in order to actually get it to pass smog, because smog places nowadays are kind of smart and they know if you stock out your car just the day before. So we're gonna do a couple things to make sure that it looks like my car has been stocked from this beginning.
Putting the stock downpipe back into Danny's Speed 3.
Let's see it. Stock. So the stock downpipe is actually like 2 pieces. This is the part that connects to the turbo. This is the part, like the mid-pipe portion. This is the OEM, or no, this is the aftermarket, what was it?
ATP. Long tube.
The ATP catless downpipe. Boom. This is a flex pipe, not a cat. A lot of people get confused with that for some reason. It looks nothing like a catalytic converter, but definitely had some heat going through this. You can tell by the coloring, the discoloring of the pipe. But let's do this, Jeff. Well, at this point, I'm African. So what up, my homies out there? But let me show you the progress. We didn't actually put the downpipe on. The downpipe was way too hard to put on the stock one. If anyone has a Mazdaspeed 3 and has put on or taken off their OEM downpipe, you know it's a pain in the butt. And just wasn't feeling it today, so we ended up putting back the normal downpipe and everything. This is, there's no shake anymore, which is good, because before there was just shake after shake after shake. The wheel's moving because the car wheels move, but there's no up and down, side to side shake, which is good. So I realized that video was kind of all over the place. Let me go over exactly what happened. So when we took the actual wheel off, we noticed that when we got to the axle nut, we were taking it off. It was super loose, so we're like, maybe it's still the wheel bearing because it shouldn't be that loose, right? Only reason why it'd be that loose is because the wheel bearing is shot and making it move all the way around. So, took the wheel bearing off, put the new wheel bearing back in, put the new hub in because I did have one stud on that hub assembly was stripped. Granted, I could have put on one new stud, but I just wanted to put on a brand new hub just so hopefully this wouldn't happen again. It's brand new, it'll last a long time. So we put all that on, realized we could not get the axle nut back on the axle because the axle was stripped, along with the nut was mostly the reason of why it was stripped. Because then we just, the next day, we got TJ's axle nut, zipped it on, it's all good now. We hit it down so that when it was as tight as possible when we slammed that piece in so the axle nut couldn't move. So that's not a problem anymore. That side, both the inner and the outer axle on that side are replaced, and the wheel bearing and the hub are replaced with a brand new, or not brand new, but the axle nut is in its right location. So hopefully that side is actually perfect now. Everything else seems very legit over there. The Speed 3 has 0 problems now, which is super awesome. I got the car back down to stock opposed to the intake, which is legal, carb legal in the United States, not the United States, California. And I am getting the car smogged tomorrow and registered in my name back in tomorrow. So that is good. That is up with the Speed 3. That is completely up to date. I am recording this as the day the video goes live, so that is your super up to date notifications of the Speed 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please like the video. Speed 3 is back up and running. Brittany is driving it every single day again. It's absolutely zero problems, and I'm feeling really good about this one now. I don't think we're gonna have any problems for a while, so that's really good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video, comment, subscribe, holla back at your boy. Peace.